Melanie touched her swollen cheek. Feeling wrong, she tried to explain. I didn't. I don't even know who your stand-in is. The next second, Ken snarled. Shut up. If you didn't do it, are you saying Jennifer is lying? A chorus of voices from the crowd chimed in to accuse Melanie. The stand-in isn't here, and Melanie happens to be the only one with the height, body type, and resemblance to Ms. Knowles who can be her substitute. What's her excuse for refusing? Melanie made the mistake, and now everyone has to clean up her mess. How annoying. She's so shameless. Ms. Knowles' stand-in didn't even press charges against her. That's more than generous. How does she have the nerve to refuse to take the stand-in's place? Ken shot Melanie a cold glare. We could have wrapped up with filming today, but you're holding up the entire production. Although Melanie hadn't done anything, she had been turned into everyone's scapegoat. She tried explaining several times, but no one would listen. They all continued berating her. In the end, Melanie was forced to go into the water. The production couldn't finish shooting smoothly otherwise, and she didn't want to delay her departure. Before stepping into the water after she dressed for the scene, Melanie looked at Ken. Forcing your girlfriend who just had a miscarriage into icy water. Do you even have a conscience, Ken? Stop pretending. I've always taken precautions. You couldn't have been pregnant. Be good and cooperate. Once we wrap up filming, I'll take you to meet my parents. No, Ken. I'm leaving. In 4 days she'd be gone. They would never meet again. Melanie was telling the truth, but Ken didn't take her seriously. Leaving, he snorted. Throwing a tantrum and going back to your family for a couple of days, only to come crawling back? Grow up and stop playing childish games. Growing impatient with Melanie's reluctance, he pushed her into the water. The icy chill seeped through Melanie's body, bone deep, making her shiver uncontrollably. The cold wind biting at her wet skin caused every cell in her body to tremble. After multiple retakes due to errors, Melanie remained in the freezing water for far too long. Her limbs grew weak, her forehead burned with fever, and her vision blurred. Before losing consciousness, she caught a glimpse of Ken and Jennifer kissing each other affectionately beneath a sycamore tree. How ironic. Melanie was hospitalized with a high fever and passed out, remaining there from the 27th to the 29th. For 3 days, Ken didn't visit her at all, not even once. Her social media, however, buzzed nonstop with news about him and Jennifer. Ken spent $30 million to buy a 100-carat pink diamond ring for Jennifer, sparking engagement rumors. Ken and Jennifer spotted on a romantic dinner date at a fine dining restaurant. Ken admits in an interview that he only shares intimate scenes with Jennifer on screen. When Melanie was discharged and returned to her apartment, she crossed the 29th off her calendar. That was when Ken showed up. He pulled out a bracelet and hugged her from behind, his tone intimate as he tried to fasten it onto her wrist. I've been busy these past few days and couldn't get away to visit you at the hospital. I got you a gift. I got it just for you, so don't be upset anymore. Melanie had seen the bracelet on social media. It was a freebie that came with the jewelry set he had gifted Jennifer. Without a flicker of emotion, she pulled away. Such a precious gift would be wasted on me. Why don't you just give it to Jennifer? Are you jealous? Jennifer and I are just playing up our relationship for publicity. It's all work. You're my real girlfriend. I haven't seen you in days. Did you miss me? Ken smirked at her, as though everything was the same as always. Whenever they fought, he'd return like this as if nothing had happened. He reached out to hug her, placing a mask over her face. When he looked at her again, his gaze carried the same tender affection he reserved for Jennifer. Baby, I love you so much. Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. Please stop being distant and make me sad, okay? My heart hurts so much. Ken looked at her. Melanie couldn't tell if he was speaking to her or gazing past her while declaring his love for someone else. Melanie used to think the face mask was one of Ken's peculiar quirks. Now that she knew the truth, all she felt was disgust. She pushed him away in revulsion, taking off the mask. Ken, I don't want this. Ken was rarely refused by her, so he seemed a little disappointed. Is it that time of the month? Yeah. Melanie, drained from dealing with him, walked out. She wasn't surprised that he came back to coax her. Jennifer had probably ditched him again. Melanie scrolled through Jennifer's social media account. Sure enough, Jennifer's latest post read, "My uncle heard I was done with filming and came to visit me. He really spoils me. We went out together, and so many people asked if he was my boyfriend. Do you think we really look like a couple?" Embarrassed emoji. The post included a photo of her with her uncle. Underneath was a comment from Ken's closest friend, Wayne Shelton. "Ken's been in love with you for years. Whatever you asked him to do, he'd do it. Even if you told him to die, he'd do it. Why did you reject his confession a few days ago and flirt with another man? Are you just treating him like a dog you play with?" Jennifer replied, "Ken has always been my good friend. My uncle is just someone I respect." Wayne shot back, "Respect my ass. Are you even related to him by blood? You're just an orphan he took in." There were plenty of other comments below. Melanie let out a cold laugh. "So you two fought again, and now you've come running back to me." She stopped scrolling, turned off her phone, and continued packing her things that if Ken paid attention, he would have noticed that many of her belongings were missing. However, he didn't notice anything unusual. As Melanie double-checked to ensure she hadn't left anything behind, Ken came over with her calendar in his hand. "I saw that you crossed out all the days this week and wrote the last day here. What's that supposed to mean?" She glanced at the calendar in his hand, unfazed. "It's nothing." Ken smiled knowingly. "I get it. You're reminding me that tomorrow's our 8th anniversary, right? How could I forget such an important day? Don't worry, I've got it all planned out." "Yeah." Melanie let him think what he wanted. She didn't care anymore. If he wanted to celebrate tomorrow, fine. She'd take the opportunity to officially break up with him. As soon as Melanie woke up the next morning, Ken was standing in front of her with a large bouquet of red roses. "Melanie, happy 8th anniversary." "Okay." Melanie accepted the flowers and casually put them down somewhere nearby, showing none of her previous excitement to take photos and share them online. She also didn't bother to remind him that her favorite flowers were pink lilies, not red roses. Ken looked surprised. "Don't you like them? I'll get you something else next time." "Okay. Whatever." There wouldn't be a next time. Ken still didn't notice anything wrong with Melanie's mood. After giving her the flowers, he accompanied her to the home theater to watch a romantic movie. It was one he and Jennifer had starred in. Ken was engrossed, but Melanie was indifferent, scrolling through her phone the entire time. At noon, Ken surprisingly prepared a full meal on his own. He even opened a bottle of vintage red wine, pouring a glass for each of them. Ken pulled out a chair for Melanie. Once she sat down, he raised his glass to her. "Melanie, happy 8th anniversary." Melanie had no desire to clink glasses with him. She was about to bring up their breakup and leave. "Ken, we need to." Right at that moment, Ken's phone buzzed. He glanced at the caller ID, hesitated for a moment, and canceled it. But when the call came in again, he quickly answered, sounding a bit restrained. "Why are you calling me? You've already rejected me." "Ken, I feel so awful. Can you come and be with me?" Jennifer's tearful voice came through the line, instantly dissipating any irritation Ken had. "Where are you? I'll come right away." He hung up, grabbed his coat, and rushed out. "Ken," Melanie called out to him, but he didn't even stop. All he said was, "Wait for me." He got into his car and disappeared from her sight. Melanie looked at the table full of food and let out a mocking laugh. Wait for him? Hadn't she waited long enough? Clearly, there was no need for any formal goodbyes. She crossed out the 30th on her calendar, pulled out her small suitcase, and sent Ken a text. "Let's break up, Ken." With that, she left for the airport without hesitation. She had loved him for 8 years, but it only took her 8 days to erase every trace of that love. From that day forth, she never wanted to see him again.